The subject of today's Dhamma talk is the definition of three kinds of persons. The aim of this talk is to help people to become noble and wise persons who will have two-sided visions on the problems of life. Generally, in our world today, people tend to pay more attention and strive to get material abundance and to get rich in the present life. Every person wants to be qualified as wise and noble person. The wise and noble person who know how to get rich and successful in this present life alone. In our Buddhist scriptures, clever and good persons are those who are not only wise enough to strive for the wealth and well-being of a single lifetime, but also far-sighted enough to cultivate or invest for the welfare of coming existences of samsaric cycle of rebirths. Buddha expounded in his discourses that there are three kinds of persons as follows. 1. Persons with both eyes blind. 2. Persons with one good eye and one blind eye. That means person with a one-sided vision. 3. Persons with two good eyes means persons who have two-sided visions. Here, the word eye is used as a metaphor. It does not mean to say the physical eye organ of human beings. Cleverness and wisdom of human beings is symbolized as the eye here. Buddha asked his audience, O sons and daughters, do you know who are persons with both eyes blind? Buddha used to put preliminary questions to prepare the audience for his answers. Buddha's questions can be categorized into 5 kinds. 1. A question asked to solicit answer. 2. A question asked to consult others' point of view. 3. A question asked to determine others' wishes. And 4. A question asked to test one's viewpoint. And 5. A question asked to answer the question answer. Buddha's above question is of the 5th category, that is to answer the question answer. Since omniscient Buddha had infinite knowledge of Tepa Ceku, meaning the divine eye, it is one of the 6 higher powers achieved at the time of enlightenment. They are 1. Adi Vida, meaning magical powers. 2. Tepa Sota, divine ear. 3. Ceto Pariyanyana, penetration of the mind of others. 4. Pobe Nivasa Jnana, recollection of former existences. And 5. Asvakhya Jnana, extinction of all defilements. Now, Buddha answered his own questions. 1. O sons and daughters, persons with both eyes blind means one is not successful in this present life. He has no economic impulse, and he does not know how to run a profitable business. He has no skill in handling money matters to accumulate wealth. He has no energy or viriya, nor business acumen, and is therefore poor and a failure in the present life. Nor is he wise and clever to invest for the benefit of samsaric round of future rebirths. He cannot differentiate which action is meritorious and pure, or which action is unwholesome and impure. He cannot understand kusala and akusala deeds, meaning wholesome and unwholesome deeds. So he is a failure for the present and for the future also. Such a human being is called a person with both eyes blind. Once in Benares, a state in India, during our Lord Buddha's time, there was a rich man's son. When he was young, the parents looked after him well, and since they were rich, the son was endowed with all the necessities of life. As he was the only son, the parents loved him without any limit. He was not educated, but led an easy life of merrymaking and pomp and grandeur. He became a spoiled child and knew nothing of the intricacies of life. When both his parents died, he had no ability to manage the business of his parents. Since he was uneducated and easygoing, he had no means of preserving the riches left by his parents. He had neither wisdom nor knowledge to invest for the future by organizing meritorious deeds, but squandered all the riches left by the parents. Such beings are persons with both eyes blind, or blind in two aspects. The number 2. The second category is a person with one good eye and one blind eye. Buddha asks again, O sons and daughters, what is meant by person with one good eye and one blind eye? Buddha himself answered, O sons and daughters, some persons were clever in handling the money matters, and they can manage to multiply their wealth. Though they have business acumen, they lack in dana or generosity, sila or morality, and bhavana or meditation. Not differentiate between worthy and unworthy deeds or actions. They do not know which deed is beneficial and pure, and one is dirty and unwholesome. Though they may be successful in business in this present life, due to lack of these meritorious deeds, their next existence will be poor, degraded, and they may even land in full ignorance or woeful states, namely that of the animal world, ghost world, demon world, and hell. Such kind of human beings are persons with one good eye and one blind eye. We have many persons belonging to this category. Though they can be categorized as wealthy and successful in the present single lifetime, they lack in the observance of dana or generosity, sila or morality, and bhavana or mental culture. The majority of our present human beings can be included in this category. Now, number 3. Buddha put the third question. O sons and daughters, what kind of human beings are persons with two good eyes? Meaning persons who have two-sided vision. Buddha himself answered, O sons and daughters, some are clever and intelligent in managing their business affairs. They know the technique of increasing their wealth. In short, they are successful and become very rich in their present life. But they are far-sighted enough to reason thus, now I am rich and I have all the necessities of comfortable life. But these riches cannot be relied upon as permanent. It can be destroyed by fire, or by flood, or by robbers, or by bad and foolish heirs. In case of my death also, these riches have to be abandoned. So, with rightful thinking, they invested in meritorious deeds, such as dana or generosity, and sila or morality, They abstain from committing unwholesome physical deeds or verbal speech. They also engage in contemplation of their physical body and vipassana bhavana or mindfulness insight meditation. In other words, they know how to accumulate dana or generosity, sila or morality, and bhavana or meditation at the present life. Riches in the physical body itself cannot be regarded as one's own property. Riches are prone to be exhausted one day, and one's own body has to be surrendered to the law of death and decay. That is, the inevitable law of impermanence. Such kind of human beings possessing the cleverness and wisdom to accumulate riches and wealth at the present life, and at the same time wise enough to invest in meritorious deeds such as dana or generosity, sila or morality, and bhavana or meditation, for the next existences can only be called as persons with two good eyes, or persons who have two-sided fish. During Buddha's time in Benares, a general merchant by the name of Mahadana, he was a shrewd businessman. When he came to know that there will be a great gathering for a traditional festival in the state of Savatthi, he collected an abundant supply of silk clothing, a common pink wear, which is popular at that time at reasonable prices. He organized his subordinates with 500 bullock carts and proceeded to Savatthi. When they came to the bank of a river near Savatthi in the evening, they decided to break journey for the night, intending to cross the river the next day. In the middle of the night, it rained heavily, and the rain did not stop for 7 whole days. The general merchant and his entourage of 500 bullock carts, they could not cross the river and were stranded on the other bank. When raining stopped after 7 days, Mahadana, the merchant and his party, crossed over the river. But to their dismay, the festival had ended, and he could not find anybody to sell his merchandise of pink clothing. He pondered over the situation and decided to stay on to sell his goods in coming winter season, since the transportation costs will be very high to carry back to Benares. Even if he could not sell out his goods in winter, he considered staying on to summer and rainy season until his merchandise were all sold out and made a handsome profit. He made his travel plans accordingly. On that same day, Lord Buddha came for alms round, accompanied by his faithful assistant, Venerable Ananda. Lord Buddha smiled on seeing trader Mahadana camped on the riverbank. When Buddha smiled, fluorescent rays flashed forth from his holy teeth, and Venerable Ananda, who was following behind the Buddha, knew at once that Buddha had smiled, as the glowing light from his holy teeth brightened the environment, and asked Buddha the reason of his smiling. And Lord Buddha explained to Venerable Ananda, pointing out the trader Mahadana, that the trader planned to stay on here for the whole winter, summer, and even the next rainy season, until his goods were all sold out. But that man had only 7 days to live. Buddha reiterated that all human beings make plans for buying, selling, and staying for a long time until they can make profits with their business enterprises. But what they do not know is the ineluctable law of old age, sickness and death, which will overwhelm them before their plans are realized. They are not counting this natural law, nor are they aware of the ineluctable law of impermanence. Venerable Ananda felt pity that trader Mahadana should die without having done any meritorious deeds, and he asked permission from Lord Buddha to caution the trader of his imminent tragedy. On attaining permission from Buddha, he went into the camp of 500 bullock carts of trader Mahadana. On being welcomed by the trader group, Venerable Ananda inquired the trader group who they were, what their plans were, and why they were camping on the river bank. Trader Mahadana explained how they came from Benares to Savatthi to sell pink silk clothing, how they were stopped by 7 days of heavy rain, and how they missed the chance to sell their merchandise at the festival. Now that they have missed the festival, they intended to stay for the winter, summer, and if necessary rainy season also, to sell their goods and make profit. Venerable Ananda related how Buddha prophesied that trader Mahadana would live only for 7 more days, and not to commit plans of long duration. Venerable Ananda convinced the trader that words of Buddha never went wrong. On realizing the true situation, trader Mahadana asserted that all these properties and riches were of no value to him when he is dead. He said, before I die, I'll offer dana or generosity, observe sila or moral virtue, and practice bhavana or meditation. So saying, he invited Buddha and his follower sanghas to come to his camp of 500 bullock carts the next day for alms dana through Venerable Ananda. When Venerable Ananda brought Lord Buddha and the Sangha to the camp the next day, trader Mahadana and his entourage, they gave alms dana, and they themselves observed morality or sila, and they practiced bhavana or insight meditation for the 7 whole days. At the end of 7 days, trader Mahadana, taking the alms bowl of Buddha respectfully, he accompanied Buddha to his monastery. On his return to the camp, he died peacefully and came into existence in the celestial realm of Devas due to his meritorious deeds for 7 days. A person who possesses the cleverness and wisdom to earn riches and wealth for the present life, and at the same time wise enough to practice dana or generosity, sila or morality, and bhavana or meditation for the next samsaric existences, should be categorized as person with 2 good eyes or who has 2-sided visions. Are meditators here to be included in the category of persons with 2 good eyes who possess cleverness and wisdom to earn reasonable income for the present life, but more important is their vision to consider with the wisdom eye to do meritorious deeds of sila or moral virtue and bhavana or meditation for the benefit of samsara or round of rebirths by joining this retreat. Surely our meditators belong to the 3rd category of persons who have 2-sided vision. Among the 3 categories, 1, person with both eyes blind. Two persons with one blind eye and one good eye should not be associated with. But persons with two good eyes or persons with two-sided vision should be sought after as associates or friends. To conclude the talk, I wish our audiences here possess cleverness and wisdom for the present life as well as for the future existences by their diligent practice of Satipatthana Vipassana Bhavana or mindfulness insight meditation, achieve the perpetual peace of Nibbana in the shortest possible time.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Hidame punya,
Hidame punya,
Nibbanasa,
Nibbanasa,
Pacayo,
Pacayo,
Hodu,
Hodu,
Hidame punya,
Hidame punya,
Nyatinang Hodu,
Nyatina Hodu,
Sukita Hondu Nyatayo,
Sugita Hondu Nyatayo,
Imano,
Imano,
Punya Baga,
Punya Baga,
Sabha Satana,
Sabha Satana,
Dima,
Dema, Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
We all be